But, in today's day and age, high schoolers, they commit, they decommit to different schools. Any talk with Braxton or maybe what he's going through after, first committing to Arizona and now, obviously committing and playing for Oregon. Now he has a chance to step in as a true freshman and play against the Wildcats. Any idea what that thought process might be like for him?
No, we haven't even talked about that. We haven't even brought that up since that happened back in the February or January, whenever it happened back then. Hadn't talked about that at all. Braxton and I just talked about him and his development and just continue to try to get better each and every week, and don't worry about the naysayers or whatever. I also shared a story with him about the quarterback I had at South Florida. His freshman year, I put him in. His first 2 passes was interception, and everyone said the kid sucked, and he couldn't play. It was amazing. Now he's a hero, So shared that story with him and just tell him you just can't get caught up in that. You understand where you're at, and you got to continue to develop and let him know that we believe in him, and that's why we want him here. We know what he's capable of doing, and know that he will continue to improve, and he's going to be fine.
Willie, another quarterback question. This one about Khalil Tate, though. You guys have faced a lot of dynamic quarterbacks this season. One. Yeah, nothing like him. Do you have to do anything extra special this week? I know there's other pieces of the puzzle with their offense, but he's a pretty big piece of that. Is there anything extra you guys kind of have to do this week to make sure you can contain him on Saturday?
Pray. I mean, he's. I mean, no one stopped him yet this year. He's a heck of a talent, big-time football player, and he's really good with the ball in his hand. But defensively, we got to be disciplined. We got to be disciplined and make sure we do a good job of wrapping up and getting everybody to the ball. Guys got to run to the ball, and probably the most important thing, we got to get lined up. You see a lot of the plays, big plays they make, defenses aren't aligned right. Part of it because of tempo and they're not getting set up. I don't think you can complicate things trying to defend it. I think that'll get you too when you ask your guy to do too much and then they don't do anything right. But I will say this: we got to be really good at tackling. Something we focus on a lot during the bye week. We got to do a great job of tackling and make sure. I mean, we're going to know where he's at. We just got to do a good job of getting to him and tackle him. I mean, he's a good football player along with their backs. Their backs are pretty good players too, and they have some receivers that can make plays. It's a dynamic offense and have the challenges, But if we're on the top of our game and play with a lot of emotion and passion and discipline, then we'll have a chance.
Willie, Tate didn't start to begin the season. Have you ever been in that position where you had a guy on your team and maybe didn't know what he could do until you saw him under the lights?
Not at quarterback position. Probably another position, but not the quarterback position. I got to think that they knew what he can do. They probably just didn't necessarily think he was ready yet. And I always say the spotlight does strange things to some people. Some people show up and show out, and some people go hide. This kid show up and show out under the spotlight. And I mean, they have a couple good talented quarterbacks. Even the guy before him was talented. He wasn't Tate, but he's a pretty good athlete. And to be honest with you, you really don't know what you have until you throw them out there in the game. You can kind of assume and practice, but again, you don't know until you get out in front of 50, 60,000 people and see what they're capable of doing.
We all know about what he can do on the ground, but what's his skills passing like? What have you evaluated him as a passer?
He's completed some passes. He completed a couple down the field. He throws some screen passes and some hitches and some deep balls. I think he's pretty good at what they ask him to do. They don't ask him to throw it 20, 30 times a game. The way they run the football, they don't have to. It's kind of, again, it's option football. But when they do ask him to throw, he's pretty effective with that as well.
Hey, Coach, you talked about it being a 2-game season. How have the guys embraced that mentality, maybe forgetting about the first past 10 and now looking forward to just these 2 games at home?
They've been good. Like I say, we had a very energetic practice yesterday, and we talked about enjoying these last 2 weeks with the seniors, and telling the seniors to enjoy it as well because they're going to miss it. This is their last 2 opportunity to play in Autzen Stadium. It's something they all dreamed of, coming in here, just playing and trying to make it their best 2 games they ever played in Autzen Stadium. And the games before this, there's nothing you can do about those but put it behind you and play these last 2. And like I said earlier, we have a lot to play for, and that's credit to our players of putting our football team in a situation where this time of year you're still playing for something, and that was the work that they put in early in the year, and even though we had some bumps along the way, then we still got a chance to do some things. So they're excited about it. Great opportunity, great challenge ahead of us, and I think they look forward to taking advantage of those opportunities.